Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 9 of What If Naruto Was Blamed and It Changed Them, guys. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, stay in tune. I'm gonna be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Awaken the Yellow Rinnegan after his exile. So stay tuned for that, guys, over on Anime King 3. Link will be at the top of the description for you guys to enjoy. And also remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and if you enjoy the videos, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, as Naruto made his way towards the Inuzaka compound, as Tasumi had asked him to remove his mask, as Kurenai had tagged along with him after he met her at the hot springs. As he got there, as he spoke to Hana, her mother, and Kurenai there as well, as Hana and Kurenai were making a plan. Seeing Naruto and the way he talked, Kurenai didn't want him to blame himself for anything at all. Strong ninjas were in Konoha and they can protect themselves, as Hana also hated it as well, because he barely won't take any vacation. This is the first one that he's taken after taking so many lives, and she didn't want it to get to him even though she knew that he was strong. So they made a plan. The next day they spoke to Tsunade about it. As Naruto came to visit Tsunade, she was happy. She was in a rather good mood as she saw him. As Naruto was out with Kakashi, they came to tell her their plan, as she would have to think about it first, as she did not know how Naruto would react when she tell him about it. But the Chunin exams are coming up and she wanted him to take it. Days passed as Jiraiya came. He had news. Orochimaru was dead, and Sasuke was the one that killed him. Jiraiya had a feeling that Naruto wasn't going to take the news how Tsunade thought. Sakura might still have feelings for Sasuke and want him to come back to the village, but Naruto has changed drastically, and he didn't think that Naruto really cared anymore. So, with that, Naruto had went over and Kiba was shocked. Kiba saw him at the house, as Kiba couldn't believe it as Naruto spoke to him. Kiba then put 2 and 2 together and realized that Naruto was dating his sister as he lost it. Naruto had to dodge as he couldn't use his chakra, as the fox had told him to relax, as his coils need to relax over a year of using nothing but non-stop jutsus and fighting. As Naruto simply knocked out Kiba with a well-placed strike though, as Naruto had been studying up on the human body. The next day they were called, as Naruto went to the office as Kakashi was there, as Jiraiya was there as well. And as Jiraiya expected, Naruto did not really care about Sasuke at all. Yes, he did not really care, as he was about to leave but Tsunade stopped him, as she told him in order to go after the A-rank Nissanins, he'll have to go up in rank, as he cannot be a genin and do that. As the entire room went tense, because Naruto was not talking, he just looked at her, as you couldn't see his face expression because of the mask. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what left off. You guys can switch across to the place and TikTok for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? The office was quiet, as Naruto stood there, Kakashi, Jiraiya as well, and Tsunade behind their decks. As Naruto's mind was going, thinking, the fact that Tsunade waited to bring this up till now means that someone was, talking to her about his well-being, as he didn't have to think hard to know that only people that know about his hunting program, had spoken to her about this. My guess is that Hana came in and requested this to her. What do you think Naruto said? Indeed, you're correct. I'm impressed though that you suspect her. What will you do now? As Naruto sighed in dismay, what can I do but obey the Hokage orders? I don't believe this. She's actually willing to risk the well-being of the village just because of me. It will be even harder to keep my identity a secret this way. As Naruto got a plan, Seeing that this is a requirement in order to become a hunter nin, which I doubt. But I'll do it. I'll follow the Hokage's command. After all, the next Chunin exams is going to be held in a month at the Hidden Stone, said Naruto, as all of them looked at him. But let me ask you a question though, Hokage-sama, said Naruto, and I want you to answer me honestly, as a leader of this village. Tsunade frowned, but she nodded. Tell me what is going to happen when Akatsuki realize who I am, and come here to get me. Seen as their known and feared enemy, you place your entire ninja force against S-rank missing nins, who are capable of destroying entire villages' landscape, and kill a lot of people before being subdued by our forces if such a thing even happened. Would you bear the guilt of knowing that you could avoid all of this by simply letting me do my job? The welfare of an entire village cannot just fall on one ninja's shoulders. That's a burden not even the Hokage can bear. And what happened to Asuma is not related to your presence in Konoha, whether you're here or not. Asuma was a shinobi, and he was ready to face consequences, said Tsunade. Naruto's mind rushed on everyone when he heard that name, as it made him rather choked up. I just don't know if I can bear that responsibility, knowing that all these deaths will be caused because of me. And with that he left the office, as the three of them had noticed it shifted mood, as Tsunade lowered her head. So hard is the path of the Kyuubi Jinjulki, said Jiraiya, as he then turned towards Tsunade. Since the Chunin exams in the Hidden Stone does not require a team of genins, you're gonna send him alone to represent Konoha. Tsunade nodded, as she had to. Then, I wish that Akashi's Jonin sensei, no offense Kakashi, but I believe that Naruto is ready for the training that his father went through, and only I can teach him. Kakashi simply nodded, as he sunched away. So you're planning on taking him to train with the Toads? Asked Tsunade. I'm gonna prepare him to be the strongest he can against the Akatsuki, said Jiraiya. Meanwhile, after leaving the Hokage's office, Naruto went to the place that he thought he would be alone. Everything that he fought for, to become the sacrifice for the village, so that the enemies would not come here, was all tossed away by his girlfriend planning, and Tsunade narrow-minded thinking. What was that the third Hokage ever thought? The needs of many overcome the needs of few. As a follower of the third Hokage, Tsunade should know this better than anyone, and yet, here she is doing something like this, preventing him from leaving the village, and in time luring all of his enemies here that seek harm against him and the Leaf, and she's gonna send all of her top shinobis against them, not knowing what they're fully capable of. As Naruto looked at the village from above the fourth Hokage's head, he was at loss what to do about this situation. On one side, he kind of understand why Hana was being selfish to be with him, because also he wanted to meet on more occasion with her. But she of all people should have known how much he suffered after Asuma's death at the end of the Akatsuki, how much emotions and turmoils he went through. And furthermore, how would he feel if the Akatsuki came here and brought the entire village to its knees and slaughtered more people in his name, just for their sole desire of getting him? You could very well use my powers and vanish without anyone knowing about it, but I guess you have your morals, and doing so, you become the very thing that you're hunting, a missing nin, said the Kyuubi. Naruto sighs. He was also thinking about that, just escaping and taking down the village enemies outside the walls, not to mention the forces that Tsunade would send after me if I do so to bring me back. How much time is needed for my chakra to return to its normal pace? I have to get stronger if I'm going to be facing off against the Akatsuki. The fox then snicker, as it sounded like a rather evil laughter. Just another day, and you'll be free to use it, said the Kyuubi. As Naruto didn't know why that evil laughter. As Naruto knew that he would have to address his commander, he knew that the man wouldn't take it well for the Hokage, forced him to stay here. But Naruto then heard something, and 3 other steps as well. I thought I'd meet you here, Naruto, said Hana, as she came beside him and stood there, as she looked over the village. Despite not seeing his face, she knew that something was wrong. As Naruto spoke, I know it was you who talked to the Hokage about me staying in Konoha, Hana-chan. As Hana sighed, as Naruto narrowed his eyes, seeing the look on her face. Don't be sad, he said. Remembering your smile at the end of the day is what keeps me going from becoming a cold-blooded murderer, as my job demands of me. The problem though, you know that my presence here will attract those that seek the fox, and for that they will destroy everything, said Naruto. I know that you want us to hang out on more occasions than through sending letter, and this is something we both want. Believe me, it's a wonderful feeling just being around you and seeing that smile of yours. But if anything were to happen to you or those I care about. I just, I... He was cut off as she removed his mask, as she planted her lips on his. Recovered from the sudden shock, Naruto wrapped his arms on her and embraced the kiss. Despite everything that she went through, she just didn't want to lose him. As another set of footsteps made their way towards the Hokage monument while they were deep in the passion of kissing. As the both of them break away, as standing there was Tatsumi and Kiba and their dogs. As Hana got rather flustered, as Tatsumi laughed. I see that bad look on Naruto's face that he already knows Hana-chan. As Naruto realized that Hana wasn't the only one that wanted him to stay. Yes, Tsunade-sama just told me about it. I didn't know that you were also behind this little scheme of theirs. As Tatsumi turned her head. Yo, Naruto. I want to apologize for my reckless behavior that night. Upon seeing you two together, I guess I just lashed out, Kiba said. I am sorry for that. As Kiba saw Naruto's gaze plant firmly on him. As he didn't know which was scarier, Naruto with the mask or without the mask. But it all passed as Naruto smirked. You don't need to apologize to me, Kiba. Hana did tell me that you're a bit overprotective of her from time to time. In the end, no one was badly injured, said Naruto. Speak for yourself. After I woke up, I had the worst headache ever. What the hell did you do to me again? Mom explained to me, but I didn't understand a thing, said Kiba. As his mother snorted, as Naruto responded, basically, I hit you in a specific place in your body that happened to send some neural information to your brain. After being submitted to a little bit of pressure, that information happened to shock your body to the world, and you instantly fainted. The headache was because of the sudden flow of information overwhelming your brain. Kiba nodded even though he really didn't understand what the hell Naruto was talking about. Oh, Kiba. Seeing that my license as a hunter nin has been restricted at the moment, I need to ask you to keep my presence here a secret. I want you to refrain from mentioning that I'm back in the village. Can I trust you with that, said Naruto. Kiba was confused. Why? What's so important I can't even say that you're back in the village? You have friends as well. Everyone has been barged in the Hokage's office, demand to know where you are and why you're not coming back. I know that you're here, you don't want them to know. Why would you want this? Kiba, all I can say is that I made some terrible enemies in my travels. And if they knew that I was here, they would come here. And many innocent life would be lost. Kiba did not know about the Kyuubi, or who the enemies were that would come after Naruto. The minute someone else knows that I'm here, news would immediately spread. And I can't have that, said Naruto. Another big reason was, Naruto still wanted to continue his hunter nin career. After all, a little Chunin exam won't be able to slow him down. I still don't know why you don't want anyone to know about this. But I'll keep my mouth shut about the entire thing, said Kiba. Naruto nodded as he placed on the hunter nin mask. The group threw some light information and talking about Naruto and the Chunin exams. After that was over, they separated as Naruto went to the Konoha registration department, as the other two apartments he was going to rent. Naruto was never well versed in business, but during his travels all around the world, as he had talked to many people that were considered business typhoons. That is the reason why he's currently, invested in this project of his. As Naruto's target was to purchase a sizable house in the future when he settled down. Hana was a person that came to mind when he thought about his future, but it was far too early for him to be even thinking about anything like marriage yet. For now, he was going to focus on the present. As Naruto made his way back home after getting everything sorted out, as he was currently looking through the upgraded bingo book that the Hunter Nin commander gave him, as subdivision was currently in it, Konoha and other villages. Just because he couldn't work as a Hunter Nin for Konoha, that didn't mean he couldn't hunt those from other villages and collect the respective bounties, because by doing this, he also freed the world of criminals from the future, and also stop any organization from being formed, like Akatsuki. Time skip, Hokage's office, as it was currently nighttime. Tsunade was frustrated she should be home right now, but Shizune had just come with those last minute papers, as Shizune had convinced her to stay and read the last reports. Just a couple of envoys and some different agents were there, as it was really late. Because of this, she could even hear a pin drop on the floor in the hallway. Suddenly though, as she got up, she heard fast footsteps coming towards her office. Whoever it was, the person was pissed, as Tsunade really didn't want to deal to anyone right now. She just wanted to go home. When the door opened, Tsunade had to sigh, as she thought she wouldn't have to encounter this man today. Gashi Ozuki, the commander of the hunting nin program. Ah, Gashi-san, I wasn't expecting you this late. What can I do for you, and please make it quick. I was about to leave, said Tsunade, but that only infuriated the man even more, as he made no effort to hide his discomfort. Tsunade-sama, I demand to know why you crossed my authority regarding one of my hunter nins. She is the best in the field. I received a memo from your office saying that his status as hunter nin is on hiatus until he advances in rank. That is ridiculous, Hokage-sama. Even if it wasn't, as commander of the hunter nin unit, I must be present in all decisions regarding one of my shinobis. Gashi-san, the reason I place this condition on him is because I fear for his sanity in the future. I've been hearing reports from Toad Summon saying that his attitude has been changing a lot lately, ever since he got the job. The fact remains yes, a shinobi rank is relative to the hunter nin position. If he continues like this, there's high chance that he will transform into a cold-blooded murderer. And seeing that he's a shinobi from Leaf, he falls into my responsibility. And as such, I would not allow him to continue unless his emotions are in check. Or in that case, when he advances in rank, I would analyze in state in order to see if he's fitted to continue his job as a hunter nin. If not, he will be placed as a regular jonin or chonin and be placed for regular missions of the village. Do I make myself clear, Gashi-san? The man was frowning the more she talked. Before he became a hunter nin, our unit estimates that approximately 5% of Konoha forces become missing nins, rather from crimes against the village or fleeing on us. But simply because of his reputation, this number was severely reduced. But since you're the one making this decision here, it will be up to you. The responsibility of people fleeing because his license is revoked. Have a pleasant night, Hokage-sama, he said, and with that he left the office, muttering the entire way. This village has become too lenient on missing nins. This is a proof of the whole event itself. While seeing the man leaving, Tsunade wondered about her regards in offering second chances. Her decision regarding Naruto was a valid one in her point of view. But what about Sasuke Uchiha? He escaped from the village for selfish reasons, and on top of that, joined Konoha most hated missing nin, Orochimaru. Even the fact that he hated and betrayed Orochimaru in the end speak little of his, well, help towards Konoha. She was still going to talk to Sakura about it. But what about Sasuke, well, title as a missing nin? As, because of Sakura asking her a favor, she did not form him as one. She didn't know what to do. She would have to think it over. No matter how much she cares about Sakura, Sasuke has killed Orochimaru, a strong criminal now. And who knows, after taking down his brother, if he did, what will he do then? She will have to be thinking about the entire village and not just Sakura anymore. The next day, Sakura was happy to hear that Orochimaru was killed by Sasuke, as she had no doubt that he would return now. That he wouldn't let Orochimaru take over his body. No, Sakura. He won't be returning to the village. According to Jiraiya, he just gathered up a group of shinobis to join him in his quest against Itachi, said Tsunade. As Sakura, happy smile quickly vanished. I see. So what are we gonna do about it? Naruto is out with Jiraiya-sama, but we could arrange for a mission to go after him, said Sakura. As Tsunade frowned even more, as Sakura wondered what happened. Tsunade, for her part, wondered about Sakura never-ending hope to get Sasuke back, as she had came up with a decision last night, as she had to protect the village. She had to look for the village well-being. No, Sakura, I won't send any of my shinobis after him, and I feel it's due time to review his position as one of our shinobis, Sakura. Sakura was shocked to her very core hearing that. The girl was smart, as she managed to learn everything that Tsunade taught her about medical ninjutsu, as she was a jonin at such a young age already. Reviewing Sasuke's status only meant one thing. Tsunade-sama, you can't do this to him. Every hunter will be after him for a crime that he didn't commit. Please, you agree that the curse mark was influencing him at the time. Tsunade closed her eyes. I said that the curse seal might have influenced his state of mind at the time. But the fact is, Sakura, Sasuke betrayed our trust. The minute he considered joining Konoha worst traitor in exchange for power. Not to mention how many shinobis we lost to gather information on him and Orochimaru. It is due time to leave this matter to the hunter nin division, said Tsunade, as Sakura lowered her head. Sakura, answer me something. Why are you so eager to protect him, even though you said to yourself, he never exchanged the same curse to you or Naruto? As Sakura looked up, he was a part of Team 7 and Naruto would agree with me that Konoha is his place. And while Sasuke never returned any affection towards us, he was a member of the team. And I have feelings for him, said Sakura, as tears were in her eyes, as she didn't want Hunter needs to go after Sasuke. Let me tell you something, Sakura. This childhood crush of yours is a myth. He only believed in revenge against his brother, and trust me, he would not lift a finger to help you. And you're wrong. Naruto doesn't agree with you. From what Jiraiya told me, he finally saw reason. Sakura was shocked by that. Naruto is traveling with Jiraiya to become stronger, so that he have a fighting chance against those against him. He told Jiraiya that Sasuke could have returned home after Orochimaru if that was his wish to do so. He already saw reason in this matter. As of right now, I am labeling Sasuke Uchiha an A-rank missing in. He still have a chance of surrendering and receiving a light penalty, but if he tries to fight, he will be sentenced to death like any other missing in, said Tsunade. Sakura nodded as she turned and left the premises with her head hanging low. Tsunade actually didn't lie about Naruto's feelings towards Uchiha. He did say that he didn't really care about his, well-being at the moment, and he was going to hunt him like any other missing in. As she felt sad for Sakura though. She felt like Sasuke was just a child crush for Sakura at the time, and she believed that with time the crush would wear off, but the feeling just kept on growing. Tsunade was now fearing that Sakura can do something stupid because of the Uchiha. She surely hoped no though, as she was a respected medical name and a jonin on field. It would prove rather disastrous if Tsunade's faith in her was misguided, and her mind isn't evolved enough to take the responsibilities of a jonin. As Sakura left, she remembered what Naruto said to her. I promise you, Sakura, he says, he gave her a big thumbs up, and I never go back on my word. I'll bring back Sasuke. She wondered how much the blonde has changed. She haven't seen him in almost 2 years now. Something must have happened on this trip for him to change his feelings and just abandon Sasuke like that. Time skip. 1 week later, as many things happened over the past week, as Sakura went into a depression state, as it took Ino going to her house and Tsunade threatening to demote her, and Ino convincing her that Sasuke was not going to come back to Konoha, as he had the opportunity but he did not. But it wasn't the words that changed her mind, as Tsunade had said the same thing. It was that Ino said it. Ino, who was in love with Sasuke as well. Ever since the academy they had bickered to see which one of them would be chosen by the mysterious Sasuke Uchiha. And to hear that Ino spoke about the rivalry to get rid of it, it kind of snapped Sakura into a different state. She was still worried about the fact to let Sasuke go, but as a jonin, she have to continue with her duties and not let this weigh her down. But Tsunade gave the Hunter book a special part for Sasuke to give him the chance to come back and not just go for the head straight away. That managed to ease Sakura's heart a bit, but little did she know that the one who will be after Sasuke was none other than Naruto himself. Speaking of Naruto, after closing rent to his 2 apartments, he spent the week with Hana and getting to know her family, and also spent some time with Kiba and Tasume, as Kiba kept his mouth shut, but because of his rather impulsive behavior, he wasn't doing a good job, and Shino almost found out, but Kurenai managed to quell Shino's suspicion. But his suspicion wasn't fully quelled, and Shino was now adamant on finding out if Naruto was in the village. Shino Bugs would alert him to Naruto's presence, so Naruto decided to just let him, know. Given Shino's attitude, Shino wouldn't tell anyone. Flashback 2 days ago, as Naruto was currently meditating in the Izaka compound, as his chakra flow was already normalized, as he then sensed movement, as he saw Kiba and one of the Envu forces. Hello Uzumaki. It's been a long while, said Shino, as Naruto got up with his mask on, as he offered a handshake to Shino. It's nice to see you, Shino, said Naruto. I see you became a part of the Envu forces. Good for you. As Shino nodded, according to his bugs, Naruto's chakra had doubled since the last time, and he could find traces of wind and fire in Naruto's chakra. Likewise, I've been wondering though, about the reason behind you avoiding your friends. Have you no faith in us, asked Shino. There are some aspects of my life that should remain confidential, Shino. I know very well that the bug you place on me has given you the information about my body, so you know, Konoha, and those I care about, would be on the receiving ends of my enemies. It's not that I don't trust you guys, I just didn't want to take any chances for it to come and bite us in the end. Logic prevails in this matter, Shino. In order to keep information away from your enemy, one must keep it away from your friends first. Explained Naruto, earned a nod from Shino, as he concurred with Naruto's assessment of the situation. Indeed, logic overruled any sort of emotional sentiment, and having faith in others may result in the secret being leaked. I am surprised though about your change in attitude, said Shino. Let's just say in my situation, I didn't have much of a choice otherwise. People would perish because of what I represent, and I couldn't handle the responsibility. It was better for me to do what I do. then wait for them to come here and destroy everything in your path. Your secret is safe with me, Naruto. Don't worry. However, in case you're in need of any help, don't hesitate to call me. You're one of us. Always remember that. Now, I must take my leave. End of flashback. Since that talk, Naruto spent the time training to adjust his chakra back to normal levels. Today, Naruto went straight to the garden located on top of the Quack's tower, where he's supposed to meet with Jiraiya. They still have 3 weeks before the exams, and Jiraiya wanted to take Naruto to Mount Miyaboku. It so happened that Jiraiya saw Naruto's reading about Earth manipulation, and he was going to teach Naruto some techniques while traveling. As Naruto arrived, I thought that you would lose the mask by now. Care to give me a reason, said Jiraiya. Naruto snorted. Yeah, that's a good one. There's a reason why people hide their identities, Jiraiya. I don't wear the mask for fashion reasons, said Naruto. As he didn't have to explain to him, Jiraiya wasn't an idiot, despite the way he acts. I wouldn't think of the word paranoia to describe you, said Jiraiya. Something much worse. As he turned towards the village. I prefer the term cautious. Now tell me, what did you call me here for? We are scheduled to leave for Chunin exams in 2 weeks, said Naruto. As Jiraiya nodded, there's been a change of plans. We're leaving tomorrow towards a special place where I want to teach you something. So tell your girlfriend and her family that you'll be leaving tomorrow. Why, said Naruto. It's not like the Chunin exams, it's hard to pass. Given the one from Konoha. Jiraiya looked at the blonde. 3 years ago, Naruto was happy at the prospect of being trained, but now, he was giving him reluctance. It's a surprise, kid. All I can say is that only 2 people receive this kind of training, and it will be worth it. Plus, this thing that I'm gonna pass on to you won't be need for Chunin exams. Your skills is already enough for now. This will serve to counter Akatsuki's most powerful members in the future. Itachi and Kisame are indeed powerful, but according to my sources, they respond to the leader of the group. And if they have someone that is controlling them, that means this person must be a lot stronger. So, your skills at this moment will not be able to face off against that person. But this will help. Believe me, sounds like you already know what is going to happen in the future. Well, maybe these skills can be beneficial in the long run. What time, said Naruto. Tomorrow at noon, meet me here, said Jiraiya. Time skip, the next day with Sasuke. After picking up some supplies and medication, Sasuke and his crew traveled as they investigated Yachi's whereabouts, but not much information was found by Suigetsu or Karin. They heard only basic information, hence why it was so hard to locate him. But Jugo, who talked to the animals, that is why they found a few location bases that belonged to the Akatsuki, the group that Itachi was a part of. But they still couldn't find out a basic location because the Akatsuki kept on moving around. Sasuke, it would be prudent perhaps to change our focus in this matter, said Jugo. From what the animals told me, Akatsuki targets are special type of shinobis with demons trapped inside of them. I believe the appropriate terms are Jinjulkis, persons that trap the Biju inside of their bodies. In order for us to know where Itachi is, we should perhaps focus on the one that he's after. Suddenly, image of his annoying teammate and that fox inside his body flashed through Sasuke's mind. Indeed, Itachi already came after him once, so Itachi would be after Naruto. So, they can catch him as well. The only problem with this plan was Naruto's pathetic attempts of bringing him back to Konoha once he saw him, and Sasuke didn't want to deal with that. Jugo, there's a Jinjulki from Konoha I believe my brother is after. Are you able to gather information regarding his next whereabouts? His name is Naruto Uzumaki, said Sasuke. Jugo nodded. The animals can sense where these special type of shinobis are, and they told me about one residing in Fire Country. It must be him. As far as I know, Konoha only has one Jinjulki. I will see with the animals about his current route. As Sasuke nodded. Time skip. As Naruto had said goodbye to Hana and her family, as he met up with the pervert, and Naruto was not wearing the mask as he left the village, as he didn't want people to know that he was connected to the Hunter Fox, and that would just ruin his reputation in the Hunter Need program. So he was Naruto Uzumaki at the moment, as both him and Jiraiya stopped a distance away from the village. What's wrong? Remember I told you there's a special route of getting there. Jiraiya smirked as he beat his summon went through hand sign, summoning Jutsu, as Naruto expected Gamabunta or another one, but instead he saw a small, green toad with a cloak around his body. Hello Uzumaki Naruto. I see that it's time for you as well, greeted the green toad, as Naruto wondered who the hell this toad was. As Jiraiya stepped in, Fukasaku-sama, I called you here so you can take us to Mount Miyaboku. Fukasaku looked at the both of them. Ma is getting everything ready. As none of them noticed the birds flying overhead. After all, it was rather normal to see birds in the sky. Time skip. as the birds arrive back at Jugo. As they whisper to him about a bird that matched the description of the Jinjulke, Sasuke, according to them, this Naruto person just left Konoha, heading towards the northeastern direction. Possible destinations are the Hidden Stone, the Hidden Grass, or Take. Sasuke wondered why would Naruto be going there. Was the mission? You know, the Chunin exams are being held in the Hidden Stone, not too far from now, said Sugetsu. Idiot, this Naruto is Sasuke's teammate. There is no way he's still a Genin. Maybe he's accompanying a team at your Jonin Sensei, said Karen. I bet the dope is the only one from our age group who's still a Genin, Sasuke said. We'll head towards the Hidden Stone in 2 days. Pack your things. Sasuke was really underestimating Naruto. Little did he know, it was going to be his biggest mistake ever. Time skip. A little over 2 weeks passed since Naruto came to Mount Miyamoku, as he was currently sitting on a stone, a very long pointed stone, with a makeshift wooden paddle underneath him, as he was perfectly calm and just sitting there. As Naruto had needed close to a week only to get adjusted to his new source of chakra, as Fukazaku and Jiraiya watched on, with smiles on their faces. No human had ever drawn on nature chakra without the help of a toad to serve as a medium, and Jiraiya was incredibly proud, as Naruto didn't have time to learn the toad taijutsu style, but that can be taught to him once he's available again. But at the moment, only training and using natural energy they can work with, as Jiraiya felt confident that Naruto can give any Akatsuki member a run for their money, as a blue bird landed on Naruto's shoulder, as Naruto opened his eyes. The problem was the bird disrupted Naruto's concentration as he lost his balance, as Naruto landed on his feet with a boom. Nature energy was really a wonderful thing, even from such a long drop. I will admit, the pervert has given you something wonderful here, said the fox. This possibility of nature chakra, imagine, if we were to merge our chakras with it. True enough, Naruto wondered if feat was possible. I was thinking of new jutsus we could use with the natural energy. Even the wing jutsu, the control of gravity, said Naruto. Indeed. You seem animate enough with the nature chakra training, so you can use the rest of the time to focus on your jutsus. Just tell the pervert you need some alone time to train, and you'll meet with him a week from now. As Naruto went directly towards Jiraiya and spoke to him. As Jiraiya thought for a while, he wanted Naruto to learn some toad jutsus, but if Naruto used them in the mix of his hunting, people would figure it out. He concurred in the end with Naruto's request, saying that he was supposed to meet him here in a week. As Naruto grabbed his clothes and put them on, as he left the vicinity, as Naruto was hopping from tree to tree, Yamakichi started to jump to his side. As Naruto realized Yamakichi was jumping off the ground, as Naruto's eyes went wide. How the hell did you get so big? I know I haven't seen you in a while, but damn! The toad simply laughed. Father and Fukasaku-sama asked me to follow you and see how you use the nature chakra and the jutsus you come with. We have a record, you know, of sage art ninjutsu. As to why I'm so big. Since you start your Hunter Nin program, I suffer a growth spurt. I just appear in your world little at my choosing. When father retires, I'll be replacing him as boss toad, so he's training me. As Naruto simply nodded as he stopped in a clearing that was close to a dense swamp, a horde of bugs appeared. Yamakichi lashed out his tongue as he wrapped it around them and swallowed them. As Yamakichi rubbed his stomach, as Naruto felt like he wanted to hurl. Time skip with Sasuke. The news that Naruto somehow disappeared was, well, confusing to Sasuke and Jugo, but they had no doubt that he would be there during the exams, so they weren't really in a rush. Hopefully, Itachi will be going there as well, and then Sasuke will finally kill his brother. For a while though, Itachi wasn't the only subject of his thoughts, as he was thinking about the blonde as well. Something really did not add up, he thought. Naruto could be a pest at time, but Sasuke had no doubt that Naruto had the power and the skill to be rewarded at Jonin rank. He cursed the fact that lack of intel could be the end of him, but he needed to see how the dope fight with his own eyes. Another thing that bothered him was his name popping up in the Konoha bingo book as an A rank missing then. As he frowned in dismay, he wondered why they took so long to do this though. It's been a long time since he betrayed the village, and his name was never in the bingo book. Now he had to think about the Hunter squad, and the thought of facing them while going after Itachi then messed with his plan. Well, at least he had Karen. She wasn't the best tracker for nothing. Time skip with Itachi and Kisame. Coming from the north, Itachi and Kisame were making their way, but they would finally capture the Kyuubi Jinjulge. The boy was as slippery as a snake, but now they would capture him. Jiraiya there or not. They received the information that the Kyuubi Jinjulge left towards the hidden stone for Chunin exams. That will be held in a couple of weeks. Itachi, do you think it's wise to fight him inside the village? While I enjoy a good fight, you know that the Hidden Stone's gonna get involved. And I'm surprised to see you planning like this. It wasn't that Kisame was afraid of nothing. It was just, Itachi doing something like this didn't seem like one of his plans. It seemed rather reckless, and Itachi was always calm and calculated. That's the entire reason, Kisame. By entering the village, Naruto will believe that he's safe. But what they fail to realize is, getting inside doesn't require much trouble. And our organization isn't worried about starting a war. Nevertheless, I feel it's high time to warn you, Kisame. The boy is not to be underestimated. Last time we managed to escape our grasp because of it. Now, things will be different. You seem rather feisty, Itachi. But don't worry, Samihata will enjoy every single bit of it. He has some tasty chakra after all. Said Itachi. Time skip. End of the week. As Naruto was on Gamikichi's back as they jumped towards a place where Naruto was supposed to meet up with Jiraiya so they can head towards the Hidden Stone. As Naruto had a grin on his face, as he had created a new technique, Sage Art, Wind Release, Gravity Force Jutsu, as he had a lot more surprise for his enemies. As he made his way, as he saw Jiraiya and Fukasaku waiting. I trust you make good use of the time given, Naruto. Jiraiya often wondered if he should follow after Naruto to see what jutsus he learning. But in the end he just decided to just keep his cool, as Naruto would show him eventually. There, 2 jutsus almost mastering. And only a few more testing. I thank you for the time that you've given me, and your help in training me at the arts of Senjutsu, said Naruto as he looked towards Fukasaku, as he gave him a small bow. The little toad was surprised by the following respect of bow. He was under the impression that the blonde lacked some knowledge when it comes to respect. Just like Jiraiya boy here, but it seems like he was completely different. As Jiraiya snorted to himself, as Naruto was always calling him a perverted hermit, and look how many things that he had teach him and help him with. I never respect him like that. It was a pleasure teaching the likes of you, Naruto-kun. Because of you now others will better be able to grasp the arts of the sage art without using toads for it. Have a safe journey, and don't forget to call us if you ever need our help. As Naruto nodded, time skip, as they left Mount Miyaboku, as they were summoned back to the real world, as they were 2 days away from the Hidden Stone, and 4 days before the exam begin. We have 3 days to arrive and place your name, according to their rules, said Jiraiya. So now, let's go. And with that the two made their way, as they had to stop for the night, as they made quite a good run. But they will make it on time there though, as they were currently in the midst of the hidden grass, as they stopped by a near cave, as Jiraiya picked Naruto for the first watch, even though he was just relaxing on Mount Miyaboku not doing anything. But Naruto still agreed as he was now sitting on a rock near the entrance of the cave. He was watching until he sensed something, 4 persons coming towards them. As Naruto created a clone, as he created another one to wake up the pervert. Naruto clone came back with the information. Naruto was surprised, as he saw those peculiar eyes watching him, as all 4 of them went down the canyon. As Jiraiya came out wondering why Naruto waked him before his shift, Sasuke and his goons appear, but they vanished. They're following us, for reasons I don't understand, said Naruto, as he felt like he was a prey in this situation. Said Jiraiya. I heard he was after his brother, coming after you. You know, perhaps he wanted to kill you. As Naruto looked towards Jiraiya, I heard, getting the monkey to Sharingan, you need to kill your best friend. The 2 of you were friends before everything happened, right? Naruto looked amused. He had that chance twice now, but he never had the intention to kill me. You know, being a hunter taught me a lot of things. Instead of going after your prey directly, it's better to go after who your prey is going after. Do you think he's following your hopes of meeting with his brother? Jiraiya said, as Naruto nodded with a smile on his face. It would certainly prove for a good distraction, letting Sasuke and Itachi fight to the death, while Kisame engage with Sasuke's team. And if any of them survive, I can deliver the killing blows to Naruto, as Jiraiya could really see the tactical, thinking mind of Naruto coming out right here. A hunter would always seek every advantage he could, and that was exactly what Naruto was doing right now. His plan was rather brutal though, but it was efficient. One thing I learned, never go well for the prey, and considering that I know the prey, I guess I have to turn the situation around. As Jiraiya looked at Naruto, you know, I don't know if I prefer the blonde idiot from before, or the way you are now, he said. I treat my enemies like they would treat me. I recall the 4th Hokage winning, by wiping out the entire Hidden Stone forces in the last Shinobi War. He did so to protect the village, and by doing so, he killed over 1,000 shinobis with his Hiroshin and the Rasengan. And you're worried about two Uchihas. If they kill each other, it's the well-being of Konoha in the end. As Jiraiya saw that the blonde, who saw that his teammate shouldn't be treated as an enemy despite his treason, the one that said in the hospital that he will continue to be a fool for the rest of his life, just because he wanted to bring his friend back, was completely gone. That one believed in second chances, but this one did not at all. Even if someone wronged Konoha, he wouldn't give him the chance to change, to show that he can do better. But he was doing all of this for the good of Konoha. Forget I said anything, kid. It just surprised me to hear you saying these words. Get some sleep. I'll watch. Jiraiya was now alone with his arm crossed, as he was wondering about the possibilities of future events. Time skip. The next day, as Naruto was already up, as him and Jiraiya left, clean everything, as they were being followed by Sasuke's team. A mile split between them, as Sasuke wondered if Naruto was able to see him yesterday, as Naruto looked like a faint outline from distance that they were. He didn't know why, but he could tell that something was different about the dope, despite just seeing the outline of him, and they were moving rather fast. Sasuke was also surprised that Naruto was now bigger than him, as he gained a lot of muscle, and now his chakra. Usually his chakra was wild, like an untamed beast, just blurring out of his body, but now his chakra flow was steady, and he was only using the bare minimum to travel, nothing too over-eccentric. As it made him really wonder what happened to the dope. The group then come to a halt, as they saw Naruto and Jiraiya talking to a few stone shinobis, probably the ones to escort them. Jiraiya was confused when he heard about, well, that the hidden grass was going into the stone territories. That was rather strange. Why the small village at the hidden grass go into the stone territories? And why would the stone even really fled a tear towards them? Something was strange as he told Naruto to keep on his guard. As Naruto noticed the stone shinobis looking at him, he was aware of the possibility that the village took his appearance to the late 4th Hokage, as he could sense that Sasuke's team was maintaining further distance from him. 2 hours after, the hidden stone was appearing on the horizon, as they entered the village, but no one was really paying attention to them. And Sasuke and his group entered the village in, well, not the proper manner. As they stop. Welcome to the hidden stone, Jiraiya-san, Naruto-san. You both are required to be present at the village arena at dawn. Do not be late, otherwise you'll be disqualified. After the leader vanished, the both of them went towards the hotel that they were currently in front of. As they made their way to the room, and they started to look for traps or wires. Time skip. At the Tsukage's office. The Tsukage was rather old, but despite his appearance he was a deadly shinobi, and he was rather short as well, and a large nose, rivaling Jiraiya in his stage mode form. As he was reviewing the documents, until the same shinobis that escorted Naruto and Jiraiya arrived. Tsuchikage-sama, the target, is at the hotel for requested, sir. The old man smiled as he pulled a file on the first drawer of his cabinet. When the Hokage sent a file of the only leaf genin that will be taking part of the exam, the Tsuchikage made some digging, and he raised this Naruto Uzumaki picture. To his shock, the man looked just like him. Blonde hair, blue eyes, the one that wiped out 1,000 shinobi in the past. Ever since he laid eyes on the picture, he started to wonder of any similarities of genetics between Naruto Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. Aside from the appearance though, nothing was there, not even the black market information about him. Nevertheless, he had some other methods, and that was by blood. Minato Namikaze was a god among shinobi, as people say, as he wiped out their 1,000 ninjas as he was feared here in those times. But one man had made a scratch on his arm with a kunai before he was slaughtered. The kunai had went back to the hidden stone and the blood was stored for further analysis. As it didn't tell much about their abilities, even though they were able to find the kunais on the battlefield, it still didn't tell them any way to reproduce his ability, but they kept the blood stored for future use. He was going to try and extract Naruto blood to find the match. If the match was positive, then the hidden stone would get their revenge from what the 4th Hokage did to them. As he pressed the button on his intercom, "Send Kurosaki here right away. I have an assignment for her," he said. But guys, to be in subscribe right here. If you want the next part of it, so know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends, your social media platform. And also, stay in tune for the brand new episode of What If Naruto Awaken the Yellow Rinnegan after his exile, guys. Over on Anime King 3. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.